So I'm going to make macaroni and cheese. I'm going to use cauliflower as a flavoring or an addition to. So basically I took the whole cauliflower head and I cut it all down into bits like this. And then I'm going to cut them down into smaller sizes. More like bite size. I'm putting them all into a colander, and that way I can rinse them off before I put them in the pan to boil. So I'll boil these first until they're nice and tender. I don't want them mushy. They can still be a little crunchy because we're going to still put them in the macaroni and cheese. And once we've done the noodles and we've mixed our ingredients, we're going to put all of that macaroni and cheese and all of this together into a like a dish. We're going to put it in the oven and we'll bake it. So when I get to that point, then I'll let you know how that's going. Okay, so I've got the cauliflower all cut. One of the things that I do to make cleanup a lot easier is I kept the produce bag. All my little crumbs and stuff like that, I'm just going to pour right into here. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to tie the bag up and throw it away. I'll just have minimal cleanup now. So now I've got my cauliflower in the colander, and I'm just going to rinse it off. Kind of rinse them off a little bit. That way you know that they're nice and clean. And then I'm going to put them in the pan. Alright, so I'm pouring them in the pan. Just like that. I'll add water to it. And I add enough to let them all boil, probably just to about to cover the top. Okay, that's about enough water there. So I'm going to put it on the stove. Nice little steamer lid. And I'm going to turn it on about 3/4 right there. 8. And I'll watch that. They say a watched pot never boils. So I'm not going to watch it actually. But I'll just come back and check on it. Okay, so now I'm going to, while the cauliflower is boiling, cooking, I'm going to go ahead and grate some cheese. So right now I'm using Tillamook Colby Jack, and I'm also going to use the Tillamook Pepper Jack. So, nice big block of cheese. I want it to be nice and cheesy. So I'm going to go ahead and grate the cheese and all. And did you know that if your cheese stays in the fridge for a while and you haven't used it, and it gets that mold on the edges or the sides of it, if you just slice that off, your cheese is still good. Because if you think about it, they've got like a coating on the outside of their cheese anyway. The cheese is still good. Watch your fingers. The last little bits are tough. But anyway, that's the way I've always been raised. Cheese is still good. So, anyway, so I'm going to grate some cheese up and get that ready. Okay, so now I'm adding water to a big pan for the macaroni noodles. I'm using different kinds. That's a penny pasta. These are elbow noodles. Doesn't matter. Pasta's pasta, right? Anyway, so I'm doing this right now. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on. I actually want it to boil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some salt and some olive oil. And the reason why I'm going to do that is it keeps the noodles from sticking. You can add butter if you want or whatever, but I just like olive oil. It's like garlic. You never have too much. Anyway, so I'm going to let that boil up a little bit and I'll add the noodles here. My cauliflower is kind of getting there. I don't want to take the lid off because I want the heat to stay in. So that's where we're at right now. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. Looks like a lava lamp. Huh. So I've grated all the cheese. So there's pepper jack and there's the Tillamook Colby Jack in there. I probably have a good 4 or 6 cups in there. And I've got my milk out. I'm going to make the, oh, and also the butter. I'm going to make the sauce here pretty soon in that pan. And then I'm going to put it in this pan. And I'll put it in the oven. And we'll bake it. Okay, so now I'm going to get ready to add the pasta. Some of them are saying, no, I don't want to go in the hot water. Don't put me in there. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. Also, if you use a wooden spoon to stir it, the noodles won't stick. Then there's a spoon with a little ladder if you're cooking beans. So the handle, this part of the handle here has like a ladder on it. And so if you do this while you're cooking the beans and you let that little ladder part of your handle there, all the beans, anyway, all the little farts will climb out. Oh! Okay, a little cooking humor, sorry. Anyway. So that'll all cook up. I think that'll be good. I don't know how much I added in there. Let me add some more. I don't really measure a whole lot. I just kind of wing it. Anyway, so I'll let that cook for a while. I'm going to I'll put the lid on. I'm going to leave it just a little bit so that some of the steam can come out. That way it doesn't boil over on me. So, anyway, I'll do that. Cauliflower, yeah, I'll check it. I'll go ahead and check it. It's looking pretty good. Steaming really nice. Still needs to cook just a little bit more. This is going to be so yummy. Yum, yum. Okay. Alright. Okay. Looks like the cauliflower is boiling very nicely. I want to take a look at how tender they are. And the reason why I don't want them like all the way done is because they're still going to bake inside of the macaroni and cheese when we put it in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this off and let it sit there. It'll finish. And then I'll do the sauce here in a little bit. Check my noodles. They're looking pretty good. You know how to tell when spaghetti or noodles is done? You throw it up against the wall, and if it sticks, then it's done. Another one of my kitchen jokes. Okay, I'll quit. No, I won't. Yeah, I'll let that cook a little bit longer. It still feels kind of crunchy. I do want the noodles done. Even though they're going to bake in the oven, I still want them done. So, I think I'm going to start on the sauce here pretty quick. I'm going to move the cauliflower to the back, and I'll move that pan to the front, and then I'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to take the cheese, that's butter. I got to learn how to read. Anyway, take the butter, I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to melt the butter for right now. And once the butter's all melted, then I'm going to add milk to it. I'm going to actually add, and that's whole milk, I'm going to add about 6 cups of milk to this because of the amount of macaroni and cheese I'm making. So I've got a half a cup of butter. I'm going to do about 5 or 6 cups of milk. And then once I get all that melted and the milk hot, then I'll add the cheese, and then it'll all melt into here into a sauce. And then I'll put the noodles and the cauliflower all in the pan, and I'll put it in the oven. So in a little bit, I'm going to turn the oven on to preheat it. Okay, so the noodles are definitely looking a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I'll put the lid back on to keep it nice and warm. My butter's almost melted. I've been cleaning the kitchen in between. So if you clean up while you're working, while you're cooking, then you have less to do. And then when you serve your meal, you don't have all of those dishes on top of all the dishes you're cooking with to have to deal with. Because not everything will fit in the dishwasher. We use our dishwasher every once in a while. Not very often. Just to keep the dishwasher happy, we'll go ahead and load it up. That way it feels like it's the appliance is doing what it needs to do and fulfilling its purpose. All right. So butter's pretty well melted. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit because I don't want it to boil. And I'm going to add, I don't know, about 5 or 6 cups of milk. And I know I said I didn't measure, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Kind of eyeball. So that's 2. I'm going to go ahead and mix that a little bit. Okay, so that carton's not quite empty. So I'll get the other milk. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to add the milk and stir it up while everything is still kind of staying warm. Cheese is on hold, waiting patiently. Okay. All right. So one of the things that it said is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. So I'm going to press bake. Ouch. Don't touch your hot stuff. I'm going to do my temperature to 350. And I'm going to press start. Okay, so now it's preheating. And it'll work its way up to 350. Make sure my racks are where I want them. Yeah, I need to clean my oven. Gee whiz. It's not hot yet. I'm going to put that rack right there. Alright. So I'm still letting the milk and the butter kind of warm up. It says to add a couple of tablespoons of flour to it. That's just to kind of thicken it up a little. I would probably do, I don't have any flour. We don't use flour. So I would probably use cornstarch, but I'm not going to. So, anyway. Okay. So that's getting warmed up. I'm going to go ahead and start adding the cheese. And let it start melting in there. You know, when I was a kid, I used to watch a TV cooking show by Irma Bombeck. Who remembers Irma Bombeck? She had a distinctive voice. And I'm going to put the cheese in the water, or in yeah, I can't do it very good. That wasn't a kitchen joke. That was a kitchen slaughter. Anyway, so I'm going to put that in there for a little bit. Still got some more in there. I'm going to kind of stir this around. I'm going to let that all melt. Oh, that's melting nice. Yeah. Okay. So, just keep putting it in there. I'm going to put my cheese in there. Irma Bombeck's got a country accent now. All right, I'll quit. Okay. Oh, that was my oven. My oven just beeped and it says it's at 350 degrees. So now, yeah, those noodles look good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour these noodles out into that colander. I'm going to rinse it all off. I'm just going to spray it with my sprayer and rinse off the noodles and everything. And then I'm going to put the noodles all in that pan. Okay? Okay. So I'm going to rinse that all off. Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll let it drain for a minute. I'll shake it. Let it drain. I got a lot of noodles. That's really good. Okay. So, got all the noodles drained. Putting them all in here. Okay, so I've got all the noodles in here. Nice and hot. Oven's ready. This is all nicely melted. That's ready to go in. I'm actually turn that off. I'm going to get my colander again. And drain the cauliflower. Whew. Ouch. It's like 100 degrees outside and I'm cooking in the kitchen. So, got that all. Don't really need to rinse that off because I haven't put anything in it. So I'm just going to pour all that in there. Okay. So now I got my cheesy sauce, which is nice and thick. Yeah. So. Just going to pour this all right in there. And then I'm going to stir it all up so everything gets all nicely mixed. Thinking I might want to grate some more cheese to put on the top. Just because. There's a lot of moisture in there, but that's alright. That'll all dissipate in the oven. Yeah, I'm going to grate some more cheese. Okay, so what I did, instead of grating it, I just kind of chunked up a bunch of cheese. Just going to mix it in there for right now. It'll melt when I'm baking it. But just makes it more cheesy macaroni. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the timer. Actually, I got to put this in the oven. I got to put it in the oven. So, whew, more heat. 100-degree day, and what am I doing? Cooking in the chicken. No, cooking in the kitchen. Oh, brother, that wasn't a joke. Alrighty, so I got it in the oven there. That looks sweet. Okay, so it says to cook for 30 minutes. So I'm going to do cook time. I'm going to do 30 minutes. And press start. And the countdown begins. 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Okay, macaroni and cheese is done. So now I'm going to press cancel. I'll open this up. Oh, look how pretty all that is. Yeah. That looks so good. Yum, yum. Okay, so I'm going to pull it out and put it up on the stove.
This is baby getting big.
Yum. Doesn't that look good? Look at that. Yeah. Now if you want, you can add breadcrumbs or something like that on the top. Bacon inside of it, whatever you want to do. Yum, yum.